Sanjay, India's test batters clearly didn't want to be rested for the T20 as against Bangladesh.
Yes, and yeah, it was lovely to see India take the baseball approach to the next level, which was brilliant to see. So that was some fun, great to watch.
Yeah, we're waiting on another new name. Earlier this year, we saw baseball meeting jam ball. Now with Gambhir here, is this a gam ball? What do you call it? You can tell us in the comments.
Yeah,
But as we
I
welcome you,
hope the gamball works.
yeah, on the evidence of day four, it looks like it is working because, well,
Yeah.
one heck of a day we've witnessed. I mean, a test match day with 400 plus runs, 18 wickets, India in the middle of it, batting 34.4 overs and scoring 285. That's more than 8 per over, the fastest team innings in test history. Welcome to ESPNcricinfo Match Day to look back on day four of Kanpur. And Sanjay, we have to start with that batting effort because
Yeah.
even given a T20 revolution and the day and age, 8 per over 35 overs, is that even thinkable?
And the fastest 50 ever, wasn't it? Team 50
Oh, they
in the
broke all the
history of
records.
Test cricket. Yeah,
Fastest
so when you
50,
talk
100.
about
Yeah.
yeah, so when you talk about the history of Test cricket, you're really talking about a record that's worth noticing because this history is very long, unlike T20 history or to an extent 50 overs history as well, because the first Test match was played in 1877. So yeah, it's got a long history. And just, I mean, everything has been said. I'm sure a lot of people would have reacted to that. But the takeaway for me with the way India played was this is the legacy that Rohit Sharma will leave behind as captain. This is how he thinks. In the past, one of the reasons why Test cricket became a little bit of a boring format is not too many teams were willing to take the initiative, barring maybe Australia and West Indies when they were number one. But here's Rohit Sharma with a strong team, a team that is one of the top two teams in the world, also showing the champions approach, realizing so much time has been lost. And he leads by example, exactly like he did in the 50 overs World Cup. So this is what Rohit Sharma will leave behind as his contribution to Indian cricket. That it's just something you do only for the team, try and play to win. And he doesn't mind in the process, like in the 50 overs World Cup, where he didn't get a big 100 or anything like that. Even here, he was quite happy to put his wicket on the line. And suddenly we have a test match which India could win. And there is excitement despite what happens. So that has to be, you have to applaud Rohit Sharma for that.
Pulling this off, Sanjay, on a pitch which had offered low bounce in whatever cricket we'd seen on it, makes it that much more special.
Yes, and these are very capable players. I mean, look at top to bottom, the kind of players India have, the ability that they have, and then you look at the bowling attack as well of Bangladesh. So it was a bit of a mismatch. But I guess what happened was that in the first 6, 7 overs, the way Rohit Sharma took off, Yashasvi Jaiswal as well. I mean, Rohit Sharma, poor fellow, you had a newcomer fast bowler coming in and bowling his first ball, and Rohit Sharma steps out and hits him for a six. So before they could recover from that shock, India was already rolling. So they got this brilliant head start, which surprised the opposition. And then they were a little more prepared. They had the field spread out. And despite that, the Indian batters found a way to keep that run rate up. I loved the commitment of everyone who went out there. They were just playing to win, playing to score quickly. And this is, I guess, what you're going to see in this partnership of Gautam Gambhir and Rohit Sharma, this approach of just playing for the team no matter what.
Yeah, and this conversion of a test match to a limited overs game also benefited two of the batters who've been looking for those test match runs, both Virat Kohli and KL Rahul, all of a sudden much more comfortable and free flowing.
I'm not sure how much of an effect that will have on the next series, which is about T20 games. But what we've seen with KL Rahul in the two innings that he's looked really good and he's looked relaxed. There have been innings where he's been asked to bat quickly, where India had to score runs quickly, and that actually seems to just help KL Rahul, you know, free up his mind. And I guess in many ways, when you look at KL Rahul, even in the IPL or any other format, when he has to think for himself and chart the course, leading a course, then maybe he finds himself a little outside his comfort zone, where he has the license, where there is only a 1 point agenda, like today. And even in that second inning, although it was a brief inning, you just see the class of KL Rahul, the shots that he plays. Must be the best reverse sweeper that India has got. So yes, that set him free. And love Virat Kohli. Would want to ideally take some time and play a typical Virat Kohli test inning, but loved his commitment as well to the team cause.
Yeah, it's something we've noticed with KL Rahul, even in those two innings that stood out at the turn of the year when he became a middle order batter. The century in Centurion, as well as the runs in Hyderabad, came at quite a fair clip. The heart does go out for Bangladesh's bowling attack to be in the face of this onslaught. But could they have done things differently to stem the flow of runs?
I don't think so. Maybe less of pace, could have gone quickly to spin. I think, the way Yashasvi started off in his very first over, there was an indication that India were going to go hard at their bowlers and score runs quickly. Maybe at that point, like India doesn't waste too much time getting Ashwin in, the spinners could have come in a little earlier. But barring that, I mean, I don't think it is really Bangladesh's fault that India got so many runs. It's just the ability if you're hitting the balls out of the park. And some of the shots that were played by Yashasvi Jaiswal, Rohit Sharma, obviously, we see the kind of, mind-blowing big game that he had. But Yashasvi Jaiswal again gave us another reminder with the kind of range that he has, a good driver, cutter. There was one sweep shot that he played almost at the very last minute. So enjoyed that innings, the quality of that innings, and nothing that Bangladesh could have done differently. But Shakib, being the wise old man that he was very keen to bowl in this inning because he knew there were going to be some wickets that he was going to go because India was really throwing caution to the winds, isn't it?
Yes, that is right. Caution to the
To the
winds,
rains.
and who knows, it might be Shakib Al Hassan's last bowling innings, depending on how this Test match pans out and the future of that South Africa tour of Bangladesh. But let's now go back in time. It almost feels like a different day because of what we witnessed in the middle. But this day started with Bangladesh on 107 for 3 in 35 overs. But the Indian bowlers, Sanjay, taking less than 40 overs to wrap up that innings. What did you make? What stood out from that bowling effort in the first innings?
When you look at the bowling card, you'll see the bowling analysis, and when you see the wickets column, this is a great bowling attack. When West Indies were dominating, in the early 80s and 90s, you saw all of them, sharing the wickets. It wasn't just one man getting wickets and the others just supporting a Malcolm Marshall. Everybody would chip in and get wickets. Same with Australia as well. And even in that performance in that first innings, you saw all of them getting wickets. Bumrah got three, the others got a couple. Jadeja got the final wicket. So that's a sign of a good team. And the wickets get shared in that fashion to put in a remarkable bowling performance. But the threat and the penetration wasn't provided by one man, but all of them together.
And as far as the Bangladesh batting was concerned, it felt like one man and all the others playing a different game because Mominul Haq was solid all through as he was on day one and continued doing so on day four uh, without any support from the rest of the batters.
Yeah, Mominul is a bit like Dean Elgar for South Africa, a pure test batter. They almost seem out of place in today's cricket, but you can see the value of these players. Now, Mominul last played white ball cricket in 2018 for Bangladesh, so he's an out and out test batter who only plays this format. And I thought I tweeted about it. It was old school batting with the help of old school technique in what is a very old format. So that worked well, and it was really nice to see him get runs. He's one of their capable batters. But the problem with Bangladesh, which I've mentioned before as well, the top three all average, like Shanto, if he bats in the top three, the openers and Shanto, they all average under 30. And then you've got people like Mominul and then Mushfiqur, Litton, and Shakib who have pretty decent averages. And that story continues to sort of go on.
You'd imagine Mominul holds key to whatever chances Bangladesh have of saving this test on day 5?
Unfortunately, somebody else also has to bat from the other end. Mominul has the temperament, has the game, has the self-confidence to play for time. But playing for time is an art which has completely gone sort of extinct almost. I mean, nobody practices that. So it is going to be a test. And with the kind of quality India have in the bowling attack, I saw the pitch also starting to turn a little bit. Saw Rohit Sharma with the new ball getting a good one from Mehdi Hassan. So the pitch is not going to be easy. Plus, Bumrah and all the others together. So it's going to be tough work. And it's all thanks to, the Indian batters, the way they batted in the first innings, and of course, the captain leading by example.
Right. The only forecasting we've really done and looked at in this test is the weather. But play forecaster for us. How do you expect day 5 to pan out?
Uh, I find India, continue their winning run. I know time is short, but Bangladesh is still in deficit. India will just come hard at them. This is how India plays. So I find it difficult for Bangladesh to save this test match. I just hope, I'm not proved right because you want to see some fight from Bangladesh.
Yeah, it will be quite a story because to think that a test match sees only 35 overs of action on the first 3 days, and then you are going into a final day with one team looking on the cusp of victory. That's how tremendous the batting performance has been from India on day 4 to turn the tide around. But
Yeah, quickly, I also want to make a point. If you see baseball as a test match approach, and you saw what India did today in a test match, this is all thanks to T20 cricket because the attacking game has gone to the next level. It's almost like England have adopted something that they're more comfortable doing, most of their batters. And you saw how easily India managed to do that in that short inning that we saw. So that is all uh, thanks to T20 cricket, that game is always at their beck and call.
true. But we do need to examine the time that was lost in this test match as well, Sanjay. It's perfectly fine when weather plays a hand, as it did on Saturday, but the day in focus is Sunday, a day where there was no rain after 8 a.m. local time, and yet you saw no play. That's not a good look for the game.
And this is a problem I've had with cricket for a number of years. As an outdoor sport, it just expects the conditions to be pristine, as in a wet patch in the outfield at deep fine leg and plays to get held up for 2 3 hours there, maybe become a little more pragmatic about it. But once the pitch is okay and the run up is okay and running between the wicket areas are fine, the odd spot in the deep where often it's cited that the player could get injured. And you see footballers, play sometimes in snow, wet grounds, and they're sprinting all over the place. And with due respect to cricket, football is still, far more sort of valuable sport, and their players are far more valuable, but they throw their body on the line playing in these kind of conditions. Cricket is a sport where most of the activity happens around the pitch. The odd ball goes into that area, but because there is a wet patch, their play gets delayed. I don't know how the facilities were and whether they had any chance of making the most of it, but it's not something that is unique to what we saw here. Something that has been happening all over the world. And I often feel that cricket as a sport lives in a bubble. It must start looking at other outdoor sports and do what is really the thing to do to make sure that you have the young audiences coming in and getting attracted to the sport. But when you have these kind of situations where you're very, very fussy about the conditions, especially in the outfield, and you stop the game, it's never going to do any good. And India, I mean, cricket, Yash, needs to be a little more popular than it currently is because there aren't 50 countries playing cricket. So we need to do more and more um, for this game to be relevant and have more and more countries excited to play it, like we've seen some of the other sports growing so quickly.